Okay, doing a quick recording here of ORA Farm's special version to just review the functionality. I have Dustin Dorton on the phone with me here. So go ahead, Dustin. So I think obviously we know like that when you search on a sales order or an invoice, it's going to pull that order in, right?
Yeah, let me shoot. Hang on, let me pull up QuickBooks so I can find
Right, right, okay.
two nine nine. Oh, I don't even know what the difference between print multiple and single is. We always keep it on multiple.
Yeah, yeah, that button is really almost been phased out, but in your version, we don't even show that single option in the new version anymore. But
Okay.
um, we made multiple so comprehensive that it does everything that single mode does and more. So it's really not very useful, you know. So
Okay.
um,
Um,
so there's the
so
order. Yeah.
we go through this list and change depending on the customer type. Um, how many of each fish we're going to put into a bag. So for this customer, more than likely everything is going to be what we call single packed. Um, but some things, I don't know, we'll just say like these clams, we'll put three in a bag, just as an example. So um, I don't know if uh, is this functionality something we need to discuss, or is this standard feature for you?
That's still standard, but what that's doing there is just flip flopping just in divisors of like if you go to the one for 12,
Yes.
it has more
Yeah.
options. Okay. The
Yeah.
the new version allows you to do that. Plus, we have an edit button in each row where you could put in any quantity to print and any quantity on label, and directly edit into that cell. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we can still
Um,
we could still do that. That would carry over. That's fine. Um,
So with this, we change the label depending on the type of customer or label that we need, and
right,
then
right.
we're gonna hit print, and then we always just hit print again right there, even though it's still like spinning. It does register it, and then that gives us a weather label at the start and the finish of the label string.
Okay,
And the reason that we do that is we actually staple through by hitting print again. It basically puts a weather label at the like the end, right where we're going to tear it off. We're kind of
okay,
tearing off at a weather label, and
okay,
then we staple that weather label through the weather label to like a paper packing list.
okay.
Um,
So if you
so
didn't, so let me just review that so I have a recording of that. Normally, if you just press the print at the bottom, it would have put a weather label what after the print or before.
before at the start of the print, the first label out is weather label.
Okay, and then because
I
you're
believe the behavior is different on the sales order,
okay,
um, but I think what would be I don't know how complicated it would be to build in like a choice where where you could do like a radio button or something for to choose
right.
one weather label beginning, two weather labels beginning, one end, two end, or one at the start, one at the end. If
Yeah,
maybe something like that was one of the suggested features. Otherwise, it would probably be better for us to just do if we had to just set a default, then let's just say two at the end would probably is really realistically that's all we need, two at the end.
right. And could that the amount that you need vary from item to item even within one order, or would it be the same for that whole order? You think?
Maybe the same for the whole order. So
Yeah.
we do two. So one weather label, will stay with the packing list. The other one we peel off and stick on the outside of the box is like a
Right,
So,
right, right. So by
so
so
we would never need more than two weather labels.
so is it always printing two by default when it prints a weather label?
You set up the sales order printing mode to print two by default in the bulk sales order. I need to verify that, but I believe the bulk sales order prints two by default at the end.
Okay. At the end of every item.
At the end of every order.
Okay. Okay. So sorry.
Yeah, we only need two per order.
Okay. All right. So the weather labels. Sorry for the basic questions here. So
But
the weather labels aren't per item; they're per order.
the weather label prints per order, not per item.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So I mean, it really wouldn't be a big logic change to let you specify like things like that. Like so the if you don't, I think that the second print button that's up by the top was designed originally for when you wanted a weather label only.
Correct.
Yeah, and then the default functionality was going to be the print label at the bottom, and then what we're probably doing what two at the end by default.
No, by default is one. The first label out is the weather label.
Right.
So by default, it's one at the beginning.
Okay. Okay. One at the beginning
Um,
by default. Okay. And
so
right.
if the logic to give us multiple choices of one or two, beginning or end, beginning and end, so on and so forth. If that's complicated, then let's just switch it to two at the end,
Two at the end by
and
default.
that would save us.
Right.
That that would never cause a problem for us.
Yeah. Right.
The
Right. Right. I see. Right.
Yeah, two at the end is fine. Let's not focus on that complexity. Right.
Right. Right. Sure. Two at the end, and that's for both sales order and invoice. You think?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we pull up the order. We let you vary the quantities to print in the line items. That's in our standard out of the box feature. Plus, like now you're not stuck with just the visors. You can do any quantities for the quantity to print and the quantity onto the label. And then you're saying two at the end by default that's per order. So it goes down, prints the whole order, and then does two weather labels at the end. Um,
Yes.
and I think I can tell by what's on the weather label the parameters that we're gathering. And then
Yes.
we would do that same logic for both sales order and invoice.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So this won't be too bad. I mean, I'm doing a lot of these conversions right now, and yours is not. Well, there's ones that are a lot worse than this. So, um, but so and then the weather. Just so I have a, what was the weather component? Because I've done a few of these weather projects, believe it or not, since yours. Uh, what was? Do you remember? Is it like weather bug or weather?
We
Uh,
had to change it because the first company shut down their free API. And I think
right.
now we get to pay like $20 a month to Eris Weather or something.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds like. Yeah. That. Yeah. And I think that's the one I've more recently worked with. Eris weather. Okay. I'll look into that. Um, okay. So and are you using other modes besides sales order and invoice then, or no?
No.
Okay. Eh,
Well, so um, other mode. I mean, you mean other QuickBooks transaction types?
well, I mean, at the top it says purchase order, sales order, invoice.
We do not use purchase order.
Okay, all right, that's
Sales
fine.
order and invoice.
And then in multiple mode, which multiple mode just means we pull up the whole order. Is all that and but
Yeah, I
uh,
don't know what single or packaging is for.
yeah,
Never,
not
never messed with them.
yeah, okay, and some of those features, well, the single won't be there anymore, but there's more transaction types with our new version. But um, okay, well, and I know there was I think that's it. It just looks up the item, and I know you had custom item fields on the label like species and abbreviation, and we support custom item fields still. So
Yeah, I think everything pulled in just fine when I did this when I was doing the sample labels. So like the support for our custom fields is already working with your demo version.
oh right, that's right. So you probably designed a label and you incorporated those fields and Good. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Good. No. This. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't, price it, and then there was some things that weren't obvious that it does in the background that,
Yeah.
uh, you
So we
know.
can go through some other features that you have in here for us.
Sure.
So right now we're in standard mode. Then you made us this invoice weather only. Um, this this mode we just scan in a barcode here, and the barcode reader hits enter as part of the thing, and then it prints the label and then clears the. Um, I don't know why that's sitting in there. I don't know if it normally does that or not, but it just clears the field so we can scan in the next one. Is all. So it's just a
And it's
just
printing just the weather label only,
just
or
one weather label. That's it.
okay. So it lets you just put the invoice number in. Okay. I mean, so you could almost do that on the other screen where you have the weather label print button there now, right? I mean,
This is like kind of hands free. On the other screen,
I
we
see.
would um,
Okay.
we would have to scan here
Uh huh.
and click print.
Okay, I see.
So I'll tell you that our application for this is there's sometimes when we do like in a week we'll do like 800 of this identical orders. So what we do is we print all of the labels all at once,
Okay.
and then we use a different template. So that'd be on a Petco. So this Petco INV,
Uh huh.
this label has the invoice number on it,
Okay.
and this label does not have an invoice number. So
Right.
we'll make like a fake um, invoice that has like 1,200 of this fish and 2,000 of this fish, and then we print everything. And the day that that we're going to actually send that order out, we take the stack of the day's packing list and one at a time scan them through that 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 label screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the
So
invoice number, the
so we
invoice.
know
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we know because so those labels could be printed like today, but the order may not ship until next Thursday. So we need to know the weather on that Thursday.
So how does this screen know which bartender label it's going to print? Is that hard coded or?
Well, we only have one weather label for all of ours. The whole system only has one weather label.
Okay. 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 So we must have hard coded that and given it a name, or else we must have given you a
Yeah, in the
setting.
XML, one of the XML or the config file is specified in there. It's just weather.btw, and that's fine. We don't need more than one weather label.
Oh,
The
there.
weather label has customer name, um,
So we made
either
a we
sales order or um,
right.
invoice number. That's either or, depending on the type of transaction, and then low temperature, high temperature. That's it.
Okay. So you mean if you can scan a sales order barcode or an invoice barcode?
To be honest, I don't know how it differentiates between the. Well, we have to look at the.
Yeah.
We have bartender on here. I don't know how it looks up whether it's a
Right. Right.
sales order or an invoice.
But both. Well, okay. I mean, I'm not trying to. Is so it's one label here. Let me see. If I go here to show the data source names, see like ref number is the same sort of like data column name in a sales order or in an invoice. So it might be
Okay,
work.
that's all we need.
It might be working either way, but the search. I would think the search would need to know which table to look in, sales order or invoice. But maybe we coded it so that it'll look in sales orders, and if it doesn't find it there, it'll look in invoices, maybe, you know.
I,
Uh,
I, I, I we never. I don't remember ever even talking about this, so I think we might have just gotten lucky that it worked.
Maybe, yeah, yeah. I mean, so all right, so that's a screen that I didn't account for. So it just does a weather label only, and it's what you're saying is it'll scan. The scanner hits the enter key, and when it processes, it prints the label, clears the form, so it's ready for you to just be able to scan, scan, scan.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sure we've done a lot of that before in the past, so we probably made it so it's like hands free, like you said. It's just scan
Yeah.
and okay, and that's
I can't think of a way that we could do like a batch process on this. So I don't like. I'm wondering if instead of having someone sit here and have to scan them all in, I think did if we try to do like a batch search and print them all, like weather label for all invoices for today, someone would still have to sit here and then peel them off the thing and then find the invoice to attach them to. So I don't see any time savings in doing a bulk option here.
right, right, right. Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I think you would have thought through a lot of that already. You know what I mean? So I trust you understand your processes. You know. Um, but I just need to know, so I'll indicate here that this needs to allow for scanning a sales order or an invoice. Um,
I don't know that it.
if you just type in if you just type in a sales order number and press enter, it'll do the same thing.
You
Um,
think?
yeah.
We've never tried it. 9, 2, nothing's coming out.
Try an invoice number and just try and see if that simulation.
Well, well, the invoice number worked because I just printed two of them.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So yeah, that does appear to only work with.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like you built a separate mode for sales order weather only.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know that we.
Right. If you don't use it, you
I
can.
don't think we've ever. I don't think. I can't think of a scenario where we need this because these labels are never ever printed in advance. We
Right.
can't. So.
Yeah, and you could always let me know by email. I'll just not put that in our estimate, you know, if it's not needed. But so right now you think it's at this point you think it's invoice only for that, and
It
then
is invoice only, but if it's only a short little bit of work to select one or the other, then why not?
right,
But we don't
right,
need it.
right. Okay, okay. Well, it's a good thing you showed me that other screen. I wouldn't have been able to. You and I did a lot of things sort of. I don't know, in a rollout fashion where we added things, so I could look back at information and it might be, documented. You and I had a clear understanding of what to do at the time, but it might not have ever got put into a document. You know what I mean? So, um, okay, good. Um, yeah.
So the other functionality that we have that I don't know if it's custom or not is in the when we go into sales orders,
Hmm.
we can search by date, a date range.
Hmm.
Right now, I only have one extra one in here, I think. Um, so I just changed the date range.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, we still do that. I mean, it would have to be coupled to the weather label logic, maybe, unless you're not doing weather labels in this mode. But
we are.
okay, yeah.
Um, it's weird because I don't actually see all these sales orders in QuickBooks, but regardless, so I needed to change this to multiple.
Right.
Um, so with this,
Huh. That's weird.
it's just the date reset.
Okay. Yeah, who knows what's behind running in that code for that single, but that won't be in the new version anyway, so
Okay.
they won't be able to even
Um,
choose that. So
I
um,
just there probably were purchase orders in there that had those dates, but they were combined up into an invoice.
yeah,
So maybe somehow are ready for the day. So some of them
yeah,
are just read out of those. But you saw there would be multiple in here. We select which ones we do and don't want to be printed. It's
right,
always all of them unless something happens where like the label printer runs out of paper and then we have to go back in and reprint like one or two of them or something because like a couple labels were damaged or something. So
yeah,
it's 99% of the time it's just 100% checked, but sometimes we do go back in and select individuals. And then in this mode, we don't need any choices for um, number of, there's no quantity adjustments because
right,
the
right.
sales orders are always packed one item per order,
Okay,
and then, or one item per bag. And then um, there, there are two weather labels printed at I believe they're at the end of every,
okay,
let me, yeah, it's at the end of every order.
okay. So it defaults to two, and it doesn't allow varying of the quantities. It just goes through the sales order. Um, and you said it's always one anyway, but one per item usually.
Yeah,
But we would just heed those sales order quantities, and that's kind of the way we behave now with it. I mean, when you're doing bulk mode, then you're just leave it, going by the amount that's on the order. So we would still need to append the weather label logic to the end of that, but okay, um, good. Um, well, I think that I think that covers it. I mean, so do you do date range mode for both invoices and sales orders?
I would like to, but I don't believe that we have that option. Does that even exist in
Uh, well, if you check the invoice button at the top here, I'll show you. Yeah, right there. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah, we don't have that, but that's that. I think that is something that I want to work on with you in a phase two of this.
okay,
And this is something that I think we talked about in email because like I would we have some general rules for some items. There's some items that even for that, even in the sales order mode where I said we never bulk pack, there are some items that we do bulk pack. It is like rare, like there's some like shrimp and things like that that we can put like 150 of them in a bag or something.
right, right, okay,
Um, and then with like Petco, uh, like half of their items have um, bulk printing capabilities. So this is where I was saying that it looked like do you already support like a packaging quantity, like if you add that as like a custom field in QuickBooks and then that'll automatically adjust the did I see something like that in the videos?
yeah, yeah. I would, I'd need to double check. But we've done that. I would need. So that's in invoice mode, right? Um,
Invoice and sales order.
yeah,
I don't. So I don't think we have to like fully hash this out right now. But what I'm kind of envisioning is like a way to like on the screen like select like enable um, enable bulk packing mode, and then potentially just have it read um,
right.
either somewhere within label connector itself or like worst case, I would prefer not to put it as a custom field in QuickBooks because I think that I'm out, but I could maybe
Okay.
rearrange some things, and we can just use that as like a divisor, because
Yep.
that would be.
That's the
But I don't think that's.
yeah, that's the way we've tended to do it. We use a custom item field, but I mean, it's just a place to store data, But um, if we had to, we
Yeah, it'd
could.
be more helpful if I could do it in like Excel or like an XML file, or a
Right.
dream would be to have it editable within the program itself, because like there's sometimes where we may say that the minimum is like we're gonna do 3 per bag this week, but then next week it could be 4 per bag depending on if the size of the fish changes, and and most of our staff doesn't have permission to get in and edit the items.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right. I see.
so it would be if it could be done, worst case in Excel, or best case, on the screen as a some kind of an editable form on the screen. That would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I would. That could potentially save us like hundreds of dollars every day in labor.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that can be done. I mean, like you said, that could be. You were saying that would be a later phase, probably, or something.
yeah, right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
like I'm seeing like a near 50% increase in speed just switching to your new label, your labeling thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting me switched over to that is gonna be a great first step, and then we can discuss the customizations to get us through these invoice things faster.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. No, that's
so
fine.
yeah,
Right.
right now I don't think we need anything. I don't think we need anything that this version,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
We don't need anything that this doesn't already have in it, with the exception of maybe giving us some options on the weather label quantities and locations.
Right. Right. Okay. When you say locations,
Printing before or
oh,
after,
oh, right,
at the beginning or the
right,
end of the label string.
right, right. Okay, I see. Yeah. Okay. Um, okay, that makes sense to me. I mean, and I'll when I put it together, I'll try to itemize sort of the features and verbalize them and bullet them. And if you see that I didn't include something that's obvious, then it's probably not in the price. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
and then the functionality wouldn't be there either. So, but we would just I'll try to I'm going to get this video to my team anyway, but then on top of that, I'll probably you know reprocess it into a list of things that I think this entails. And
okay. Well, I mean, let me know if you. I mean, right now, a video is probably too long and boring for anybody to get through. Just let me know if you want to do like a speedy version without as much chit chat.
yeah, no, that's fine. It'll be all right. I mean, but I know what you're saying. I'll so no, I think this has been extremely helpful, and this is going to expedite getting this going. You know what I mean, like crazy. So I appreciate your patience. So
Sure.
um, but okay, well, sounds good. Um, I'm gonna get this kind of sent over, and then we'll get some numbers to you. Hopefully next week.
Sounds great.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Dustin. All right. Talk to you later. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
All right.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.